Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the League of Europe. We are here for the first round of Season X for Division 3. My name is Jake. I'm going to be taking you guys through this throughout the entirety of this season. Joined alongside me throughout the rest of the season as well is Mr. RJW Videos. Ross, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. I'd just like to say congratulations to the Orgs for putting me on D3 and not D1, because that was the correct decision. Because the waffling I would do on D1, I'd steal the show from the rest of the drivers. So
You love to see it. Love to see it. But as we say, we're here for Division 3 for this season. Massive mix-up of the grids, especially from the last season. Quite a lot of returning faces and quite a few of some of the new names. And as I say, some people that have moved up and some people that might have moved down that you would have seen. Of course, it does say that there is only 13 people here for this evening. We could be about to get 15 or 16 people, which is a bit of a shame, but yeah, there's not much else that I can really do about it. I have tried to get a few of those guys, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, we should definitely be having at least another two more people join in throughout the qualifying session. But yeah, I think it's going to be quite an interesting season. Starting it off with a classic of Australia, since we had since it got moved over to Bahrain because of the whole COVID situation a couple of years ago. Australia was normally the first race of the season, but now, of course, it will be Bahrain. But we decided to go back to a bit of a classic, so we're starting it off with Australia for this season. And early doors, Ross, any sort of prediction that you could make without just looking at the guys that are on this grid?
I mean, I've seen a few of the guys race, not recently. I haven't. There's quite a lot I haven't seen, to be honest. And I have not seen any of the preseason stuff, so I don't know pace wise. But someone like Rex is going to be up there the whole season. That's knowing Rex from D2 last season. Rex should be up there a lot of the season. And then YHYY as well. Someone who also dropped down, I think, from D2 last season. So those are my two, really.
Yeah, no, for sure. They'll be the ones to keep our eye out on for certain. And yeah, as you say, Jordan being our Division 4 champion as well from last season, I'd say he's for sure to be one that we need to look out for. As well as Rex dropping down, as you say, from Division 2 last season, Brent as well. They're the ones that I think could definitely make an impact. It's looking quite grey out there as well, I've got to admit. So I'm a bit intrigued to see if any of these guys, well, I can see that everyone's trying to get out as soon as possible. Ryan B, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that might actually be Brent or Cam up ahead. I know it's one of the two Alfa Romeos for sure, but I believe it is actually Cam K. So Cam K is going to be our first one to complete a lap. Again, Division 3 title battle from last season with Chill and Demorts, and obviously they're both now in Division 2 this season. So realistically, this should open an absolute path for Cam to win this championship. You would have thought. But as you say, with Rex and Brent coming down from Division 2 last season, they could make a bit of an impact. So we'll see if that's going to be the case for this evening. But Ross, first lap of the season, it's going to be from the American of Cam K in the Alpine. Why don't you take us through it?
Yeah, there's Cam K makes his way down to the start-finish line, right towards the end of the straight here in Melbourne, as he brakes hard down for turn one, slightly wide, and he's invalidated. So that's a good start to the season for Cam K.
Yeah, very good start. Why not? We'll go on board with Ryan B then. Mr. 1291, not 1994. It's going to be absolutely awesome if those two are battling out on track, because it's going to be very difficult to try and tell who's what. It's going to be Ryan B versus Ryan B, basically. So we'll go on board with Mr. 1291 and see what he's able to do around the streets of Melbourne. Just making his way towards the end of Sector 1. Of course, as I say, he's going to be the first one to put a timer on the board, as long as he doesn't invalidate. 27.1 in the first sector. Now, through the newly built from, I think, since 2021. It was supposed to be there in 2020, but because of the COVID restrictions, it ended up actually going ahead. No, not even in 2021, in 2022. So, yeah, coming through that newly built part for the Australian circuit since 2022. Ryan B trying to take that as quick as possible. Again, purple in Sector 2, of course, being the first one that's going to set a lap. And again, another newly built part of the Melbourne circuit, as you just seen, the little triangle section, I suppose that we could call it. very sort of tight and twisty, or very tight through there. You want to be able to make sure you get a nice exit out of there, and especially throughout the final corner, because then it's a long run down to the line. The third time activating the DRS on this lap. Up to the line comes Ryan B. It's an 18.695. That is the times that the drivers are going to be looking to try and do. And I believe that there might be a Williams of Rex that might be about to beat this time here. Never mind, he's invalidated.
Oh. Yeah, it just looked like a very tidy lap. Nothing sensational from Ryan B. As Ryan B beats that lap by 7/10 to go to the top. Oh, beaten already by Cool Kicker. So we're into the 17s already at the start of this session. So yeah, that Ryan. How are we going to distinguish this? this is impossible. The Red Bull Ryan. That lap looks a mile off now, but it just looked very tidy. All the apexes hit, but not really pushing the track limits at all, really.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And as you say, we'll call him Ryan Red Bull. I think that might be the best option to probably call him Ryan Red Bull, and then Ryan B. I think that'll probably be the easiest way of distinguishing them. But something that we can distinguish, Mr. Valter coming across the line, the other Haas into P4 with a 1:18.450 as a reserve for this evening, covering for Lars Nogwa. But I'm sure Lars will be quite happy to see that his teammate was on top. As I say that, Farrell then decides to go and beat that, a 1:17.8 from the Irishman up on top so far for the Alfa Romeos. Probably the oldest team, sponsored by Old Spice for this season. And I think they had another sponsor or something like that. Who were they again?
Yeah.
Sorry, Ross?
It was the old age pensions.
For HMRC.
Yeah. Old age pensions, yeah. Gotta love government pensions.
Well, I know that they certainly do. So, yeah, of course, they've got a few of their sponsors for this weekend. But going to round on board with Mr. Jordan J. GAT, Division 4 champion from last season. He's just made his way around the final corner to see if he's able to beat Ariel Farrell. No, he does not. In fact, pretty much almost an identical time to his teammate at 1:17.939. These two, I remember from Division 4 from last season when I was watching them, they just could not be split apart whatsoever, and it's just looking like it's the exact same for this evening. Very respective third and fourth for Ryan and Jordan so far. So yeah, very nice to see between those two. But I'm watching Mr. NRT Julie show. I think one of the newcomers to the league. I think he was there maybe at the very end of last season, but now of course starting his full season in Division 3, and of course starting it around Australia for this evening in the Aston Martin. So we'll see what he's able to do. He is just rounding the final corner. Looking like quite a nice tidy lap from him so far, and I think he's got to chuck it on pole. A 1:17.5 from Julie Show. What a time that is! Almost 3/10 up ahead of the Irishman of Farrell.
Yeah, Julie Show, best finish of 4th place last season, debut season. So coming into this season, try and build on that. Try and get his first podium, first win. Don't know about pole position, but he's currently there at the moment, so it's a good way to start the weekend. Hopefully, you can build on from that.
Yeah, we'll definitely see if he's able to. So, yeah, we're going to stick on board though with Ryan Red Bull. Ryan B1291 on his second lap. Well, he's on an out lap at the moment, but first set of laps done. No time from Brent and no time from Rex. So, yeah, a bit interesting that we haven't seen lap times from them so far, and hopefully they're able to get some sort of lap time done. YHYY, the one that's sitting at the bottom at the moment in terms of lap time, but again, it's not necessarily far off from Mr. Ryan Red Bull, who we are now on board with, as I say, going down in towards turn number 1. Took a lot more curb this time around in comparison to his first lap. DRS now wide open for the first time in this lap, braking around that 100-meter board down into third gear. Very easy to lock up the rears there and have a bit of a half spin, but he does that very nicely. Now coming through turn number 5 and up towards the fast section of the track, a 10.5 up on his time. So this is not looking like a bad time. If anything, I would say it was a sector 2 that might have let him down ever so slightly. So we'll see if through the fastest section of the circuit, we'll see if he's able to maintain that time as he makes his way up towards it now. Yeah, there you go. Just over a tenth and a bit now up on his time, nearly 2 tenths up on his time. Instead of the purple sector 2, once again, it is fibbing. But yeah, we'll see. Ryan B now into the final sector. Through the triangle section, took that very nicely, took the amount of curve that he needed to, and now through the penultimate corner comes Ryan Red Bull, and see if he is able to possibly get this lap hooked up, maybe in towards the 17s. This is looking like this could be into the 17s for Ryan B. Up towards the line he comes, though. It's a 1:18.017, so just shy of the 1:17 lap times. But second lap round for himself, Ross. It's a decent start, as I think Rex is about to complete his first lap.
Yeah, Rex does complete his first lap, goes into 11th, an 18.5. You're talking about him and Brent not setting laps. I don't think they last season they were quite late to set their first laps as well. So as Brent is out on track now on his out lap, so should be seeing a lap from him very shortly. Ryan Red Bull, just it looked tidy again, but he was definitely pushing the track limits a bit more, and that's where that time was found, down to an 18 flat, right in the mix there at the top. So that much better second lap, and I think near enough. Well, yeah, most of the grid is out on their second flying laps now. Just went on board with Cool Kicker through the final sector, absolutely flying it around there, invalid, but sending it onto the AstroTurf. But I'm on board with Farrell now as he opens DRS, coming up to, I don't know if it's still turn 11 and 12, the quite fast chicane, the beginning of sector 3, and he gets through that very nicely, opens the DRS. Into the final sector now for Farrell, down heavy braking into turn 13, bit wide for Farrell and a bit loose on exit, and that will have lost him some time. As he comes through penultimate corner now, you can go a bit faster into there than you used to be able to, and Farrell box to absolutely kill the excitement on that lap.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Jordan as well is invalidating on his time, so I'm assuming we're going to see the Scotsman gear up to go again. It looks like he's built up his battery enough, so yeah, I think he is going to be gearing up to go for another lap. Never mind, as I say that, he goes into the pits, so he's not going to be gearing up for anything other than probably what... actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to say that. So he's going to be going straight into the pits. MCR, though, the Spaniard, the consistent Spaniard of the league, he is on a lap at the moment, and I'm pretty sure I saw it say he was 2 tenths up on his time as Brent goes on top with a 17.550. The Dutch, when we were saying Division 2 last season, very good time from him. MCR is still up on his time ever so slightly. But again, we'll see what the Spaniard's able to do. Although it looks as if he might have backed off on his time. Yeah, he's definitely backed off, actually. He is showing us the red flashing lights. So not going to be any improvement from him.
Yeah, he was a bit short on ERS anyway. So I was watching him around the beginning of the lap. It was quite low then, so backed off. Mr. Wouter, while Brent went to P1, Mr. Wouter wasn't far behind, went up to P5 in the Haas. So the Haas is currently sit in P5 and P6. I don't know if anyone else is on a lap at the moment. No, Julius Show has a full battery, so whether Julius Show goes around for another lap or comes into the box, don't know. But there is no one else on a flying lap at the moment.
Yeah, it looks as if they're just sort of playing it cool at the moment. And speaking of cool, I think Corley Kicker is going to be our first one to complete another flying lap. Did one lap and done a 17.8, so we'll see if he's able to make any sort of improvement. This could potentially be his final lap. I don't think it would be. I think he might still be able to just get around and get into the pits and get himself back out ASAP. But we'll wait and see. So making his way around the final corner now and up towards the line to start what could potentially be Cordy Kicker's final lap. 5 minutes or just over 5 minutes left to go in the Haas. We'll see what he's able to do, breaking it down into 4th gear into turn 1. Normally see people into 5th, but might be a bit of a quicker way. We'll see as Cordy Kicker heads now down in towards turn number 3, breaking again around the 100 meter board, taking that apex quite nicely down into 2nd gear, short shifting it up into 3rd and into 4th. Probably not taking as much track as you possibly could do, but through now turn number 5 and through turns number 6 and 7. Was that rain that I possibly might have just seen start to come down? I think it is potentially starting to rain here, Ross.
I'm not sure. I can't see anything at the moment. But if there's anything, it won't be affecting the driver for this lap in particular. Because if there's something, it's definitely not very much. As Cool Kicker does come out that chicane now onto the final DRS straight of the lap before you get around to the pit straight. Very nicely through turn 13 now into what is the proper final sector. A bit faster than you before, and very nicely through the penultimate corner into the final corner now. Fast out of there, DRS on, up to the line. What is Cool Kicker going to do? It is a 17.6, goes into P3. So this is a very tight battle for pole at the front, because Cool Kicker's just potentially gets around for another lap, but I'm not quite sure he's got enough time. But if that's his improvement, what are people like Farrell and Mr. Wouter going to do as well? So it's going to be a really, really close battle for P1, and you could be 3 tenths off and down in P8. It's going to be that close, something like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be that close. I was just watching on board of Farrell as well. He was 4,500 up on his time. And then, unfortunately, he then hit that triangle section quite hard. And he did what he did basically on his second lap around before. So he's used now 3 sets of the softs. I don't think the Irishman is going to be able to complete another lap unless he goes out on a used set of softs. Unless he picked the softer option. If he picked the softer option, then fair enough. At least then he can use that to his advantage and go out on a final set of softs. But I believe he'll probably be going out on a used set of soft compound tyres for his final run. Yeah, just wanted to check and see if anybody was maybe thinking about going on a used set of softs. Only one really is still Cool Kicker, who's just making his way into the pits now. So just under 3 minutes left to go. DTR Brent still out on top. Julie Show 18 thousandths of a second behind Brent. And then on the second row is Cool Kicker and Jay Hings. Of course, Jay Hings in Division 4 from last season, moving up into Division 3. So I'm intrigued to see how he's able to do for the season. Same with Farrell. I think Farrell was in Division 4 at some point, moved into Division 3, then moved back down to Division 4, then moved back down to Division 3. So, yeah, we'll see what he can do now as a permanent driver in Division 3. Yeah, as I say, I don't believe anybody's actually out on a proper lap. As I say that, though, MCR has actually started what I think is the Spaniard's final lap for this session. He's just making his way through turn number 4 and now turn number 5 in the Aston Martin, representing his hometown driver. 200ths of a second down on his time in the first sector, but maybe sector 2 and sector 3 is where he's able to make it up in this session. DRS now wide open again for the second time in this lap. It's 4 DRS zones actually. I was saying, I think I said it was 3 earlier, but it's actually 4 around this lap. Now 200ths up on his time, so he's made an improvement so far, 400ths since that first sector. His teammate just getting out of the way in terms of his lap. Now down in towards the triangle section. It's caught a couple of drivers out so far in this time, but MCR took that lovely, just avoided that curb entirely on the inside, and I think that was the way to do it. Now around the penultimate corner for the Spaniard, and to come around the final corner, want to be able to have the best run possible coming out of that final corner. He looks like he didn't take as much curve as what he probably could have done, but up towards the line comes MCR. It's into the 17.888 for the Aston Martin. So close from first all the way down into ninth, split just under 0.4 of a second, Ross.
Yeah, and something like that, MCR could potentially fall out the top 10. It's so close. But the lap times are just going to come flying in now, I think. Ryan Red Bull's on a lap. Well, near enough everyone's on a lap. Mr. Wout is still in the pit, so I don't think Mr. Wout is going to... Well, he's not going to come out for another lap. There's not enough time left as there are yellow flags in the final sector. That's just cars moving out of the way. But we're going to have the lap times come absolutely tumbling now. As Ryan Red Bull, Julius Show is out. He's crashed out at turn 6. That is a big scalp at the end of this session. Not going to be able to improve from P2 as Ryan Red Bull goes up to P5. So that's the first of the drivers really to cross the line on this final run up to P5. But Julius Show out with 10 seconds of the session remaining.
Yeah, so no improvement for him. So Brent's probably going to be breathing a sigh of relief. Speaking of our pole sitters so far, 6 tenths down on his time. So yeah, he is definitely going to be breathing a sigh of relief MCR just making his way into the pits. I think our first person that's going to finish his lap is going to be the finish, ironically, of YHYY. So we'll see what he's able to do, making his way around the penultimate corner to come around the final corner now. Does YHYY, can he possibly put it up a little bit further ahead? He's just got to do a couple attempts extra, and he does. He goes up into P7 with a 117.806. Ariel Farrell just making his way around the final corner now, 1/10 up on his time. This is going to put him at a decent time here. See if he's able to possibly challenge those top 5 guys. Up towards the line he goes. P4 with a 117.713. Brent did not make any sort of improvement.
Brent didn't improve, but cool kicker, I've just seen, is a 10th up. So potentially, this could be pole position for the Haas as he comes through the final corner. And just the run up to the line now, DRS open. The cool kicker could potentially be on pole. This is going to be really close. Oh, he's just short. Just short.
So close for those guys. Matt Tibos makes an improvement. A 17 Triple H, same time as MCR and Rex into the pits, and that is done for qualifying. What a qualifying that was. Top 3 separated by 18 thousandths of a second. Julie Show crashing out on that final lap. And like I said, I think Brent was breathing a sigh of relief after not improving. I think he was 6/10 down after the second sector. But Brent and Corley Kicker lining up on the front row by 80 thousandths of a second. I think we're in for an absolute treat here, Ross. As you say, it's so close. Just look at the whole grid. The top 13 separated by under half a second. Brent and Corley Kicker, as I say, the 2 Dutchmen out on top in first and second. Julie Show in third with Farrell in fourth on the second row. Jay Hings in fifth with Ryan B in sixth, or Ryan Red Bull in sixth, shall I say. Jordan in seventh with YHY in eighth. Mr. Valter in ninth, the only reserve that is actually here for this evening. So thank you very much for that one. MCR rounding out that top 10. Matt Tibos is in 11th with Ryan B in 12th. And then the all-American duo of Cam K and Rex starting at the back end of the field. Like I say, so close between 13 drivers. Rex, I don't think actually improved on his final lap. I think may have actually invalidated, so that's why he peeled it straight into the pits. But wow, I had the feeling Rex could probably be up there as well with the rest of those guys. That is such a tight grid. 13 people under 5/10 of a second.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And as you say, I don't think Rex's qualifying ever got going, to be honest. Definitely invalidated on that final lap. I saw him come into the pits. I'm pretty sure he's invalidated. So, yeah, half a second between the top 13. But we've been playing this for long enough. We know that quality pace does not translate to race pace most often. So watching it in the race could be very interesting, especially when it's not just the soft tyres that are going to be used, and the ability to push as much as you want. So it benefits some drivers are more adept at managing the race situation over pushing flat out for a lap. So yeah, it's good that it's close though. It's really good that it's close. It sets up a really good season.
Certainly does, but we've got the 5 red lights on, no formation lap. And for the first round of the season, the lights are out and away they go. Very good start from Brent. Not exactly a very good start from Corley Kicker or Geordie Show. Already now alongside is Ariel Farrell going down in towards turn number 1. Farrell up ahead into 3rd position. Brent manages to maintain that position. Ryan Red Bull up into 4th already. Geordie Show losing out 2 positions off of the start. Jay Hings now looking to try and make an attack on the Aston Martin as there's a Haas trying to go down the inside. That is Mr. Wow on the inside of MCR. A little bit of a push and shove between those two, but manages to keep it very clean throughout the rest of the field. Cam K up into 11th, jumping up 2 spots already as well. Rex maintaining the back end of the field. Right, Matt Tibos not having the best of starts either, but a very good start from our pole sitter of DTR. Brent now up into 1st, 7/10 off a second up ahead of Corley Kicker. Now they're making their way up towards, as you say, what used to be turns 10 and turn 11, which I now believe are turn 9 and turn 10. If I'm not mistaken. And again, very fast section of the track, very easy to have a spin coming out of there, but it doesn't look as if anybody has managed to do so. I think they may have made it a bit easier to go through on this game, which is nice to see. Ryan B, though, trying to maybe look down the inside of Cam K in towards the triangle section of the circuit, but not able to do anything about that. John JT trying to go down the inside of Jay Hings on the third to last corner. Jay Hings then runs out a little bit wide and allows White to now try and go around the outside of the penultimate corner. Manages to get that move done. Very nicely done. Jay Hings, though, he is on a set of the hard compounder tyres, so he's going to be struggling in these first set of laps, but the race will definitely come back to him later on down the line. Very clean start throughout this first lap, though, Ross.
Yeah, Jay Hings really looks like he's struggling for tyre grip. And he's dropped a few positions, I think. But those hards are clearly not working for him as of yet. That was late on the brakes from Ryan, the Mercedes Ryan in the background. But yeah, Brent has just absolutely bolted away at the front. The top two went with mediums compared to the three behind, all on hard. So you would expect them to start pulling away. But Brent's actually gapping Cool Kicker at this point on lap 2, so this it could threaten to pull away quite quickly, but hopefully not for our sakes, as Rex makes an overtake on Matt Tibos. Matt Tibos drops to the back of the field on hard compound tyres. No one really moved that much, not massive positions gained or lost and on the first lap. So yeah, very clean first lap. Very controlled first lap from everyone in the field.
Yeah, it certainly has been, and I thought I was going to see MCR try and go around the outside of Mr. Vouter, but as he made a slight little mistake, but no, manages to maintain that position in ninth for the time being. Brent setting the fastest lap of the race to no surprise. Jordan JT, though, trying to go down the inside of Julie Show, going down in towards turn number 1. He's going to have the tyre grip, the better tyres so far, and gets up into 5th position. That's actually quite huge, because now they're a second behind Ryan B. Or behind Ryan Red Bull, shall I say, as now YYY, going around the outside of Julie Show. A little bit of contact between a pair of them. Look like Julie Show almost understeering into YYY. Had to give up that position. YYY now up into 6th. Julie Show now down into 7th, and now right in front of Jay Hings. Those the other hard tyre guys are Farrell and Ryan B. They've had a decent start of managing to maintain 3rd and 4th, but then are all starting to drop out of DRS. 1 second gap between each of these guys. Other than YYY, he's managed to pull himself back into the DRS, but I don't think it was enough at that point, as Jay Hings now trying to go around the outside of Julie Show. He wants to try and get in front of his other hard runner, but not able to do so. Is he going to get a better exit though? No, he has a bit of an oversteer moment, as does Ryan B as well. Flying. Yeah, Ryan B almost have it going straight into the wall, as Mr. Wouter now down the inside of Jay Hings, and that's now another medium runner in front of another hard runner, and yeah, I think they're going to start tumbling down the field even more so very, very soon.
I've seen that background shot so many times of a car just going flying off to the left there. And you always think it's going to end up in the wall, but the times they save it, you just don't expect it at all. And Mercedes Ryan does very well to hold on to that as he goes through there. But yeah, the hards clearly not... Well, I don't know if it's just the hards being slower or the hards not warming up properly. But there is something there. They're just no grip, really. I mean, Farrell and Red Bull Ryan have managed to make it work, but even they're getting closed up fairly quickly by Jordan and YHYY behind. So hards, it's going to be a long first stint for those hard runners. Got to keep themselves in position and come back in that second stint. That's what they're hoping for.
Yeah, it certainly is. And speaking of one of the hard runners, looks like Farrell might be on a move on Cooley Kicker soon. We were saying that he had a very bad exit out of the Sweep and S section, so I don't think he's going to be able to make any sort of attack on this run around here. But yeah, Farrell is doing a very good job on these hard tyres so far. Looks as if he's put his practice in for certain. Same with Ryan B. Or Ryan Red Bull. He's doing a very good job so far up in P4, just holding back Jordan and YHYY. Surprised Mr. Vouter hasn't managed to sort of catch up to these guys as of yet, but again, I know he's only just passed Julie Show on that last lap, so we'll see if he's able to do so. In fact, YHYY might be actually eyeing up a move on Jordan down in towards turn number 1. The Finn, I thought, might have been looking for something. Doesn't go for the move in the end, but Cam K going down the inside of Jay Hings in towards turn number 1. That's another medium runner now passing on Jay Hings down in towards turn number 1. MCR as well, looking to go for a move on his teammate, as YHYY does get past Jordan. Now Julie Show goes defensive and doesn't make the move. Ryan B, though, trying to go down the inside of Jay Hings in towards turn number 3, gets that move done. The Brit now up into P11. And in case you're new to the League of Europe, it is the top 12 that get themselves points for this in the league. And at the moment, Jay Hings will be our final points position scorer, as saying that Cam picks up the first 3-second time penalty of the season for Division 3, or probably of the season.
That is very early. Yeah, 5 laps in, Cam K picks up a penalty already. Yeah, a very nice move by YHYY on Jordan. He's already got past the Red Bull Ryan as well, so he's up to P4 on those medium tyres. It's what he's got to do. He's got to charge through the field. But slipstream down the straight with DRS on Jordan, and yeah, was ahead before the braking zone, so fairly standard move. But yeah, up to P4 now. Jordan on the back of Ryan Red Bull as he's looking to the inside for turn 1. I think he's going to back out of it, and he does. But the opportunity's there down to turn 3 for him to move up, follow YHYY through. As that gap for the lead now is 1.8 seconds. Ooh. Ryan B is fighting this one hard with Jordan, but Jordan has the inside for turn 4. No, never going to get through there. Has to sit in behind Red Bull Ryan for another sector. That is, yeah.
Yeah, certainly has to. And Rex and Jay Hings coming together out of turn number 4. I think Jay Hings was trying to hold it down the inside. Rex might have shut the door on him. I'm not too sure. I didn't really get to see it properly. I just saw Jay Hings just going around. Might have been even understeering into him, but I suppose we'll see after the race. Geordie Show now maybe going to look to go for a move on Ryan B. He does. He did pass him literally going down into turn 3, and Geordie Show just said, no, I'm going to take that position straight back off of you, and now up into 10th position. And he gets a double dose of DRS as well, so he will still manage to maintain DRS, which could mean that Rex could also be overtaken. But Rex could overtake Ryan B, but no, he does manage to just slot in behind. But yeah, that being the first collision, or proper collision, shall I say, Matt Tibos also losing out quite a significant amount of time, I think, trying to avoid the contact in all of that as well. Means that he is now a little bit on the back foot. But yeah, the pack already, despite how close it was in qualifying, it's now completely spread out from the looks of things. I mean, Ryan B, again, maybe looking to try and go for a move on Geordie Show. I don't think he's going to do it in towards turn 1, but going to try and have the better exit out of turn number 2. And it definitely does look like it. Geordie Show went very wide coming out of turn number 1 and went on the grass into turn 2. So yeah, Ryan B now going to try and go around the outside of Geordie Show. Geordie Show, that's what I meant in the qualifying. If you break it a bit too hard, you're going to lock up the rears on your car. And that's exactly what happened with Geordie Show. It meant that Ryan B could just swoop it around the outside and up into P10. Goes the Brit in the Mercedes, and Geordie Show now down into 11th, almost getting put under pressure from Rex as well. And even further towards the front of the field, Farrell all over the back of Corny Kicker once again. He just doesn't seem to get the run out of this S section, but he definitely got the better run this time in comparison to the Haas. But again, just not close enough to go in for a move is the Irishman. So we'll see, maybe down in towards turn number 1 or even at turn 3, if the Irishman is able to go for some sort of move. As MCR getting past Mr. Wouter in that Haas. Now up into P7 goes the Spaniard, and see if he is able to maybe try and catch up to the back of that pack with White Chihuahua, Ryan Red Bull, and Jordan JT.
I like the irony that Farrell's driver number is 7. As Kimi Räikkönen had that number for a very long time. As the oldest driver on the grid for a very long time as well. But as he actually, I'll stop taking the mick out of Farrell for a minute. He's just made an overtake for P2. I was about to say that the mediums and hards are kind of about level. The hards are working quite well now. So, and as I say, that Farrell gets through on Core Kicker for P2. There's another yellow flag that is going to be Julius Show down at the exit of turn 3, so I don't know what happened there, but he'd just been overtaken by Rex. I don't know if Matt Tibos was going for a move there, but yeah, Julius Show now 6 seconds off the back of Matt Tibos, with Jay Hings right behind. But yeah, the mediums and the hards are about equal at this point in the stint, I'd say.
Yeah, there certainly are. Battle going on, though, between Ryan B and YHYY. Very close battle in between them as well. Ryan B getting the move done, going down in towards turn number 10. And then YHYY, I thought, was going to try and go for it down in towards turn number 12, but no, just held it back for the time being. and manages to maintain in P5. But yeah, you're definitely right. Those hards and the mediums are now pretty much at level pegging. Maybe even the hards could be just a little bit better than those medium tires about now, because look at that. Farrell has already dropped Coolie Kicker to about 8/10 of a second behind him. YHYY, he's managing to stick with Ryan B, but Ryan B is just looking so much more confident through the corners. And Farrell, he's even starting to gain up to the back of Brent as well, ever so slightly. So yeah, I think these medium tyres are starting to die off a bit more now, and I think these hard tyres are definitely coming into their own, as Geordie Show picking up this now the second 3-second time penalty of the race so far, and his first 3-second time penalty now down towards the back end of the field after having that spin on the last lap round. I don't think he actually did make any contact with anybody. I think it was just because I saw Matt Tibos just go past him, and I think he was already round at that point. So yeah, Geordie Show now unfortunately down at the back end of the field, but hopefully for him is able to try and make up some sort of positions with respect to that, as Ryan B now looking to see if he can eye up a move on Rex going down in towards turn number 10. I don't think he's going to be close enough, so goes back to this battle here for P4 YHYY on the back of Ryan Red Bull, but again not able to get that move done. And the Finn just biding this time, just playing it as best as he can, and just waiting to try and pounce on any mistake that Red Bull can make, as Ryan B does now get past the American of Rex into P10.
Yep, and whilst you've been watching that, I've been paying attention to the gap at the front. Farrell has brought it down to 1.5, but he's bringing Cool Kicker with him. I'm a bit concerned about the if this is the point in the stint where they've kind of equaled out, the mediums are going to have a sharp drop off, I would have thought. If this is, we were on lap 9 and they were about level. So as Brent picks up a penalty through turn 6 going wide on exit, so I mean that's easily done, as Rex I think has just done exactly the same thing through turn 6, but I mean I was about to say everyone spread out, but YHYY is still he's right on the back of Jordan now, as Ryan did get through on the last lap, or the lap before, I can't remember. This battle for P4 is still going, and I think these three are going to be battling for the rest of the race probably. Yeah, but I'd be expecting someone to come in the pits in the next, probably around the end of lap 12, just to see, just for the undercut. And it may trigger something, so we'll have to see when that happens. If that happens. But yeah, Farrell. Cool Kicker's now fallen away, and Farrell, the gap 1.4. So he's slowly chipping away at that gap to Brent, as I think Mr. Wouter just made a move down into turn 1 on MCR for P7.
Yeah, he certainly has, but MCR looking to see if he can try and go for another move down towards turn number 3 on the Dutchman, but not able to do anything for the time being. Yeah, YHYY, very strange, because he just sort of lost it slightly on in going into turn number 4, which then allowed Jordan to then just get the move done on him. And I think we've got some side action going on between Ryan B and Rex. I think Rex was getting under pressure from Ryan B. Oh my goodness, Ryan B manages to hold an absolute tank slapper and keep that car in a straight line. That was so close from him, but his teammate is going for that move down in for P4. Ryan B just has to hold back. It's not his teammate that is battling with Ryan B, it's the other Ryan B in the Red Bull. And yeah, it's going to allow Jordan, he's going to have the double dose of DRS. Ryan B, though, is going to maybe look and see if he can go for a move down in towards turn number 12, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything for the time being. Ryan B just now having to play his cards and sit in P5 for the time being. I'll tell you what, though, Farrell is in an absolute prime position to be taking a win for this evening, especially with no penalties to his name. On the hard tyre, is going to be on the softer compounder tyre compared to Brent later on, as Ryan B, yeah, again, making a bit more of a mistake coming out of the final corner, which means that he's not going to be able to go for an attack on Jordan down towards turn 1, but down into turn 3 we might see something, as Ryan B picks up the 3-second time penalty, goes wide out of turn number 2. YHYY now goes back past him, and yeah, for Ryan B's troubles, he picks up a 3-second time penalty, so now he's down into P6, and I think these hard tyres are now going to start to go off. I think we saw around 25% of their tyre wear is when those tyres will start to drop off a bit more. 35% is when they're just pretty much a bit crap. So I think that's now what has come into fruition for these hard runners. And now Ryan B really starting to struggle with these tyres. He's got quite a bit of ERS to play with, but so does the fin of YHYY. And in fact, we're going to see Ryan B go around the outside before turn number 10 moves straight in front of him and tries to go for an overtake on Jordan in through the S section through turns 10 and turn 11. Gets shoved out wide. YHYY now going to go for the move on Ryan B and on Jordan. Gets the move done. The fins up into P4. Ryan B goes up the inside of Jordan as well. Jordan, I thought he was able to hold on to that position, but ends up losing 2 positions out of all of that. And now down into 6th position. Very hard battling now going on between 4th, 5th and 6th. Allows Mr. Wouter and MCR into this battle between these guys. Jordan into the pits now. MCR following suit. We're now starting to see the first set of pit stops. Brent as well, our race leader, now into the pits as well for a set of the hard tyres. So now we're going to start to see these mediums and the medium tyres, or the medium runners, shall I say, now making their pit stops. And the other ones that are pit early, are they going to be able to go for the undercut? Cam as well just realised pit on the last lap and put on a fresh set of the soft compounded tyre, which is a very strange one, but he's gotten past Julie Show. Is he going to be able to jump out ahead of any of these other guys coming out of the pits? He jumps up ahead of Rex, but not going to be close enough to get an MCR or Jordan, but he is now within the DRS of them, is the American.
Yeah, end of lap 12, pit stops galore. And most of the medium runners came in. There's a few still out there. Cool Kicker, one of them, and that's a crucial one as Farrell takes the lead of this race on the hard compounded tyres. Cam K is going to have so much more grip than these hard runners. Cold hards against warmed up softs, it should be a no contest, but he's just struggling, have no real place to overtake in that first half of the lap. But Cam K going to have a real chance coming down potentially into turn. MCR just lets him go into the chicane. And yeah, Cam K is just going to set the timing boards alight, but there's no way Cam K gets to the end from here. As Cool Kicker and YHYY make their way into the pits. And that's caused Mr. Wouter to stay out yet another lap, as his teammate is already in the pits. So let's see where they come out compared to Brent. Brent is already miles clear. And there's going to be a McLaren in the way as well for Cool Kicker, as Matt Tibos is there. But look at the gap. It's huge. That was 1 lap of an undercut. And that is, 5-6 seconds that Brent's pulled out in 1 lap? I didn't see Cool Kicker have a mistake, but Jesus.
Yeah, 6 seconds. He's now up ahead of Brent. Well, sorry, Brent's now 6 seconds up ahead of Cool Kicker, which is insane to think about. That undercut must be huge. But then that's now going to throw some bit of doubt into Farrell and Ryan B's strategy. And same with Mr. Wouter. Unfortunately for him, he had to wait out another lap because of his teammate pitting. So he's had to now wait and stay out for the time being. Jordan, though, going to go for a move on Cam just before turn number 10. See if he's able to do it. Cam's going to hold the inside. Jordan holding the outside. In fact, he does slightly back off guys on soft tyres, so he just wants to try and follow him for the time being. But now he's using the overtake. Now he wants to go for that move, and same move just behind it is MCR. Double overtake going on. That's now, in fact, MCR might even try and go for Cam K as well. In towards the triangle section, a little bit of contact between the pair of them, but I think they just managed to hold on to it for the time being. MCR now all over the back of Cam K. Cam K already starting to struggle on the soft compounded tyre, and into the pits comes the American for now his second stop. I think he is trying the 2-stop. He wants to try medium, soft, medium. Could potentially work. And as I say that, he then picks up a 5-second tyre penalty and actually, in fact, retires from the session. So I'm guessing he probably didn't mean to chuck on a fresh set of the softs, meant to chuck on the hards, and it just, now it didn't work out for him.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. It created some excitement. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think he meant to go on the softs, but it is an interesting decision to retire straight away and not try and see it out. But yeah, you never know what's going on what's going on through these people's minds, whether they want to be there or not. Especially after that, you work hard to set yourself up in the first stint, and then it selects the wrong tyre for you. It's a difficult one, but yeah, what can I say? But Brent, that outlap was one of the best I've ever seen. To the point where now he was only about 10 seconds off the back of Farrell. I don't know what pit stop loss is around here. Maybe 17 seconds. That's still 7 seconds gained on someone that didn't pit. That's in 3 laps. That's incredible. And Mr. Wouter still going on the mediums. Whether Mr. Wouter's trying to get onto softs for the second stint, don't know. But those tyres just look like they're on ice at the moment, and Brent should close up very quickly. But there's only 4 drivers yet to pit, so Brent is in a very nice situation. And Cool Kicker has got up to the back of Matt Tibos, trying to get back onto the podium in his chase of Brent.
Yeah, he certainly is, and I feel like he's going to go straight around the outside. I don't think Matt Tibbles is going to be able to put up too much of a fight, especially with DRS for the Dutchman. And yeah, already now up into P3, trying to chase down Brent, as you say. Farrell now 10 seconds behind Brent. You got to remember that Brent was only 1.5 seconds behind. Farrell was only 1.5 seconds behind Brent before he made that pit stop. So now 10 seconds behind. That just shows the undercut and how insane it is. And now Farrell, he's going to be put into quite a significant bit of traffic. Not only that, he's going to have to try and carry the rest of the hard runners around with him as well. NCR Jordan and White Tri for pitting onto the hards for them. They've now caught onto the back of the Irishman. Matt Tibos finally into the pits. Mr. Wouter's still in the lead of this race. And I've got a theory. I think Mr. Wouter's going to try and do medium to soft. And I think that's why he hasn't made a pit stop as of yet. So if he doesn't, then it's a bit of a silly move from him for not making a pit stop. But I think from what I'm looking at, I think he's definitely going to be trying a medium to soft for this afternoon, and it might end up working out for him, or it might play a complete flop. If a safety car comes out, he will definitely be very happy that he had stayed out on those mediums. But from the looks of things, it doesn't look as if anything is going to be coming out as of yet. If there's maybe a collision between these guys fighting for fourth, then there's that opportunity, but it just doesn't look as if, especially with the clean drivers that we've got from these guys, it doesn't look as if there's going to be any collision happening anytime soon between these lot.
No, and as you said, Mr. Wow probably going for the softs, but he's lost that much time staying out. It's going to be difficult to make up that much time when he puts the softs on. When he puts the softs on, we don't know what lap he's going to pit, but the softs won't go very long, so he's going to have to keep going, I think, for a few more. No, I take that back. He's in the pits right now. Which just, it seems very bold to go 12 laps on the softs around here. But we'll see if he can make it happen. And where he's going to come out, that's an important part, because I think it's something like 17-second pit loss around here. He was about 8 seconds ahead of second. He's going to come out in the mid-pack. Is he going to come out ahead of Rex? Maybe just, yeah, he should be fine. Obviously, having that tighter entry to turn 1, he should be fine, able to warm up the tyres, and he's actually in P8, so not the worst place to be. Nice bit of clean air to warm the tyres up into, and then he's got to go charge down 3 seconds to Ryan Red Bull in front, and then another 3 seconds to White Tri to really get in the mix. Doesn't have a penalty, so this could... It's either going to look really bald and just fall a bit short, or it's going to look like an absolute genius play when he gets the checkered flag. But 12 laps to go. Mr. Wouter on the softs.
I think it might be a bit of a flop choice. I think he's not going to be able to make up the moves that he probably would have hoped he could do. Maybe P5, but then his tyres are going to be absolutely dead towards the end. It means then the hard runners are just probably going to absolutely breeze past him. And then there's not much that he can possibly do, as Ryan B and Rex side by side of each other going through the triangular section. I saw Ryan B go almost off track at that point, so I think he just had to give the position back to Rex. But yeah, Mr. Wouter not really making up the moves so far on the soft compounded tyre. He's kind of kept the same gap to Ryan B on his outlaps. So yeah, very surprising to see, as Ryan B now in the Mercedes going down the inside of Rex in towards turn number 1. Gets that move done. Up now into P9. Matt Tibble setting the fastest lap of the race brought himself now into the clutches of Jay Hings and Julie Show, but Jay Hings obviously had not got a penalty, whereas Matt Tibos and Julie Show both do. So yeah, Matt Tibos and Julie Show really need to try and get a bit of a move on, especially trying to get past Jay Hings first of all, to try and get a little bit further up ahead and not potentially not lose any sort of points, because as I say, top 12 get the points. Matt Tibos is so far going to be our only non-scorer, as well as Cam K, for this evening, as a White Try White gets the move done on MCR just before turn number 10. MCR driving quite a nice little tidy race so far, but now the Finn manages to get the move done, and Farrell going down the inside, a corner kicker down towards the triangular section as well. Ryan B, the Red Bull Ryan, getting another 3-second time penalty to his name, so that's now going to put him even further behind Mr. Wouter, and potentially could be in the clutches of Rex, despite Rex only having a 3-second time penalty. And same with Ryan B, the Mercedes Ryan B. So yeah, I think we're going to see not an on-track battle, but a timing battle between both of the Ryan B's from the looks of things. So now Farrell setting the fastest lap of the race. He's now on a charge, 6 and a bit seconds down the road as Brent. 9 laps left to go. Brent's got that 3-second time penalty. Farrell's got to try and avoid getting a 3-second time penalty if he wants any hope of winning this race this evening.
Yeah, some very crucial moves on that last lap. Farrell obviously getting up into P2, can now go set himself off after Brent, close that gap down to 3 seconds if he doesn't get another penalty. And also White Try White up into P4, now can go chase after Cool Kicker for P3. So podium opportunity there for White Try White. Still 9 laps of the race to go at the end of this one. Jay Hings and Julia Show still yet to pit, so that's the battle for the final point, and they will be a long way back once they do make those pit stops. So Matt Tibos needn't worry about scoring points, I don't think. As Rex gets back through on Mercedes Ryan, that's a battle that's just going backwards and forwards. They're kind of in their own little space at the moment. Tibos made his way through Julia Show and Jay Hings, and he's going to be the next driver to try and close up to the back of Rex and Ryan. Mr. Wouter has now caught up to the back of Red Bull Ryan B. Down the pit straight, and I think DRS, yes he does. So this is an important move. He needs to get this one done quickly if he wants to try and close that gap to Jordan. It's about 4 seconds at the moment. He's got DRS. He's going to the inside. Ryan B does brake late. There's contact at the apex, and Mr. Wouter goes into a half spin. So that is exactly what he didn't want down at turn 3, and now he's got to close right back up again. And I think any chances of getting back through the order are gone with that kind of half bothered move. Really didn't really put much into that. Didn't brake late, kind of forced himself into the apex and then spun. So a bit clumsy really from Mr. Wouter, but he'll have to build and come again on the next lap.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Mr. Wouter. Now, as you say, his tyres, after having that half spin now, is pretty much going to be quite heated up. Rex and Ryan B, again, they're just chopping and changing positions constantly. Rex now leading that battle ahead of Ryan B in the Mercedes, but of course, with Rex having that penalty, means that Ryan B is pretty much guaranteed to jump him, unless Ryan B picks himself up a 3-second time penalty as well. And a bit of an update towards the front end of the field. Farrell now 5.1 seconds behind Brent, with obviously Brent's 3-second time penalty. Is actually technically now 2 seconds behind our race leader. And we'll see if Brent is able to try and maintain at least a 3-second gap up ahead of the Irishman. At the moment, though, Farrell is closing in on him at a rate of not 7 laps left to go of this race, and at the moment, it is looking like Farrell might be able to get that gap down to Brent on the final lap from the looks of things. But then again, his tyres then will be quite damaged, and Brent's tyres will be in a bit more of a better shape. But we'll see. As I said, we'll see towards the end of the race if he's able to get at least within that 3-second gap between the rest of these guys. Meanwhile, P5, Jordan and MCR still battling it out. MCR maybe trying to look for a move around the outside towards turn number 10. Jordan goes defensive on the inside, means MCR is going to have a better run coming out of it, and the Scotsman, I think, is now going to get overtaken by the Spaniard. Yeah, MCR down the inside of the triangle section. Don't think Jordan was trying to fight that one too hard, other than in towards turn number 10, and that is now moved done. MCR now back up into 5th. They've lost sight of YHYY. YHYY has completely run away from them, and in fact, he's actually starting to gain onto the back of Corley Kicker. Could we see the Finn potentially get himself back onto the podium in Division 3 for this evening? I think there might be an opportunity for him here, Ross.
If he's got a tall order to do so. 2.5 now. The gap it's stabilised around 2.4. Yeah, if anything, it's creeping slowly up. So he's got a lot of. He's got to find another gear really if he wants to close in on that podium. Saving grace might be if Cooler Kicker gets a penalty, but nothing as of yet. As Farrell now, the gap is down to 4.1. Those mediums are just going to come in alive at this point in the stint, and also the hard tires on Brent's car are 3 laps older, so the wear isn't really going to be as big of an issue as it was in the first stint. The drop off of the hards and the mediums is probably going to be at a similar point. So Farrell in a very good position now, only needing a second and to keep it on track. With 6 laps to go, should be quite easily doable. Mr. Walter still trying to build back up towards the back of Ryan B, who is himself closing onto the back of this battle between MCR and Jordan. But yeah, those two swapping positions. Ryan B just in DRS. I think he has got DRS this time around. Mr. Walter has not, but they're all there. So this could be a four-way battle for P5 in the dying laps of this race. But yeah, the front 4 are all kind of spread out. It's just really that battle, and then Ryan B wrecks, and they have been joined by Matt Tibos. Although Ryan B is the only one without a penalty at this stage, so they're fighting for a bit of bragging rights at this point. Well, Ryan B is anyway. So yeah, Julius Show sets the fastest lap after his pit stop. He went softs. Jay Hings went mediums, and it's not going to pay off, I don't think, for Jay Hings, as he is 4.3 seconds behind, although he is still in penalty range, so we'll have to see if he can stay within 6 seconds at the flag.
He certainly can, but Ryan B in the Red Bull getting a double overtake down on that DRS straight and goes past MCR and Jordan. Now means that MCR has now dropped down into 6th, Jordan down into 7th, and now going to be under pressure from Mr. Valor in the Haas. On 6 lap on soft tyres, as there's been a collision. That's Matt Tibos around. Virtual safety car has come out. No front wing for the McLaren. Yeah, no front wing for him whatsoever. Must have had a bit of contact with Ryan B in the Mercedes, because I saw Ryan B towards the side of the truck as well. So I wonder if they may have come together. That's an Aston Martin in the pits, and same with Ryan B. So the Red Bull and the Aston Martin both coming into the pits to chuck on probably a fresh set of softs. I don't know why they've come in.
New front wing for Ryan B.
Oh.
New front wing.
Okay, so they must have had some sort of collision. I don't know what had happened with Ryan B then, but yeah, so he's come in, chucked on a fresh set of mediums high. Same with MC. I'm surprised he didn't go on a set of the softs, but yeah, Fat Matt Tibos picking up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's only going to cause even more troubles for him. Means that he's not going to be able to finish up ahead of Rex, especially with Rex having that penalty. And in fact, he's actually jumped up ahead of Ryan B as well, coming out of the pits. So yeah. Annoyingly for Farrell, it means that there's going to be less time for him to try and catch up to the back of Brent. Brent's probably absolutely loving that there's a virtual safety car right now, and probably wants it to stay out for as long as possible. The only thing he's probably hoping for is that there's not a full safety car, because if there is one, then that's pretty much gone for his chances of taking a win for this evening. But a virtual safety car means that he can just stay out a bit longer in first, try and build up as much of a gap as he can before the virtual safety car does end, which has ended now. DRS has been enabled once again, and Farrell now has the arrears of 3.8 seconds behind Brent. Now only 7/10 of a second he needs to catch up to the Dutchman to get ahead of him. But yeah, Farrell, he needs to try and do it all now with only 4 more laps left to go. We'll see if he's able to get the jump on him. I'm sure there's probably a few of the Relentless boys, including myself, That's hoping that Farrell can do it, but we'll see if Farrell is able to maybe go for that move. We'll get in within the 3 second time frame of Brent in first, as well as Mr. Valter looking to see if he can eye up a move on Jordan. Those softs look like they've held up quite well for him, in fairness. I thought they would have dropped off after like 4 laps on them, but yeah, Mr. Valter, he's kept them quite nicely, and he's managed to stay within DRS of the hard runners, so maybe he's looking on for a P5 up ahead of the Scotsman in front of him.
Yeah, they are holding on very nicely, which makes you wonder the ones that went into pits and changed onto mediums, whether it was just a case of they didn't have any softs, or it was either they didn't have any, or they weren't quite sure of the wear and didn't risk it. But Mr. Wouter is showing that the wear actually isn't as bad as first thought, holding on to those softs very, very nicely indeed as he's trying to shape up a move for P5, gained 2 positions of Ryan B and MCR coming into the pits. They're now 16 seconds back from that battle for P5. But Farrell's still trying to close that gap. It's now 3.5. I think he loses out a little bit through that final corner and down the straights, but the corners, just every corner where he's not having to push it, he is gaining. 3 laps to go. It's going to be very, very close down to the line. Farrell's got to keep it clean and gain half a second, so he's in a really good position, but he's just got to be careful here, because he could be really close to losing it as Mr. Wouter tries to go round the outside of turn 3 on Jordan. Jordan has the inside still for turn 5 and holds on to the position after all of that. I think there might have been a little bit of contact as Matt Tibos takes the fastest lap. He's going to really struggle to get any points from this one, though, with the 8 seconds of penalties, as Mr. Wouter comes back at Jordan and is through for P5 with 2 laps remaining on the soft tyres. That's a pretty solid comeback, actually. After staying out ages on the mediums, that's pretty decent.
Yeah, it certainly is, and he's had a very good run. Because he also had that little bit of collision with Ryan B as well, who's now in 7th position after making that pit stop. Same with MCR. Yeah, he's had a very good recovery drive up to P5 on those softs. 2 more laps left to go, and it should work for him. In fact, he's gotten away from Jordan even more now as well. So yeah, credits to Mr. Valter. He's made those soft tyres work. Matt Tibbles yet another 3-second time penalty all over the back of Jay Hings, as you say. I don't think there's any hope that he's going to be able to jump up ahead of Jay Hings and Julie Show. But I'm quite surprised Matt Tibbles did pit. He had the prime opportunity of getting some points finishes for this evening, and he's basically thrown that away by making an extra pit stop to try and go for the fastest lap. Was Ryan B going down the inside of Rex again? This battle just still not stopping between the pair of them.
He had to change his front wing, didn't he?
He did. You are correct. Yes, ignore me on that one. So, yeah, that's fair enough. He did have to change that. Yeah, so it completely ignore me. Yeah, so Matt Tibbles now, unfortunately, yeah, after having that mistake, then he's now pretty much guaranteed to pick up no points unless someone in front of him does decide they want to have a bit of a ballerina session. But we'll wait and see. Ryan B and MCR, or the Red Bull Ryan and MCR, both battling it out for P7, despite Ryan B having a 3-second time penalty, or 6 seconds worth of penalty, shall I say. He still wanted to have a good battle with the Spaniard out in front of him. The other Ryan B just trying to hold off the American, who has a penalty to his name. And again, I think we're actually going to see Rex go for a move, maybe down in towards turn number 12. But an interesting thing, Farrell still 3.5 seconds behind our race leader, and it's now on the final lap of the race. Farrell needs to do something on this final lap to take this win. Otherwise, it's looking like Brent might be able to pick up this win for this evening. Farrell needs to try and do something on this lap, because it's only his final opportunity. He needs to make sure that he doesn't make any sort of mistake, but Brent also needs to make sure he doesn't do the same. If one of them makes any sort of mistake, then it's pretty much over for their race win.
Yeah, last time I checked, Farrell was good on warnings. He just picked up his first one. He's still only on 1. Brent has, I think he has a clean slate since picking up his penalty, so he's in the clear in terms of another penalty. Farrell just hasn't had enough since the safety car restart. He got to about 3.4, but then it stuck there. and he just hasn't had anything to close down Brent. And Brent, with a clean final few corners, should come across the line to win the first race of Season X Division 3.
Certainly will. So here we go, Brent, around the final corner now. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for the Irishman, but Brent, he's starting on pole. He takes the win for the first round of Season X for this season in Division 3. Congratulations to Brent for that one. Farrell will finish on the podium in second, and Coolie Kicker will take third position. White up into fourth. Mr. Vouter managed to hold on ahead of the Scotsman in fifth, of Jordan in sixth. Ryan B and MCR will finish in 7th and 8th, but the other way around, respectively. Again, good battling between the pair of them. Rex and Ryan B, again, they've also been stuck together throughout the entirety of that race. Ryan B will finish in 9th and Rex in 10th. Julie Show will finish in 11th. Matt Tibbs will finish in 12th. I think he might have actually built the gap to Jay Hings. I think he did have enough.
I don't think it's enough. It needs to be 8 seconds, and I think it's going to be about a second, just over a second. Yeah.
Ooh. Fair enough.
He didn't get that point in the end. Yeah.
Very unfortunate for Matt Tibbs, but still valiant effort from him after having that spin and breaking his entire front wing. White in-game driver of the day. Me personally, I'll probably still have to give it to Brent after just a command and drive. Didn't really get pressured up until just before he made his pit stop, but yeah, very well done to him. Very close in terms of more of like not a telepathic battle. What am I looking for? Yeah, it was definitely sort of a very close fight in terms of timings for Brent and for Farrell. So yeah, Brent managed to hold on to that one. And as I say, Coolie Kicker finishing in third. Nice quiet race for himself. I don't think he was really pressured by anybody other than Farrell when he got overtaken. And then as soon as he got overtaken, then that was that indeed. But final classifications for this evening, pending any stewards' inquiries if there are any. Brent up the top with Farrell in second. Coolie Kicker in third. White in fourth. Mr. Wouter in fifth. Jordan in sixth. MCR in seventh with Ryan B and Ryan B in eighth and ninth. The Red Bull Ryan in 8th and the Mercedes Ryan in 9th. Rex rounds out the top 10. Geordie Show in 11th and Jay Hings picking up the final point of the final point of the season, final point of the race for the first round. Matt Tibbs, unfortunately, picking up the fastest lap, but not picking up a single point for this evening. And Cam K also not picking up a point for this evening. Only 14 drivers showing in Division 3 for the first race. Not exactly a good turnout. Hopefully, we have more for the next race. For round number 2, I believe is China. But any sort of final thoughts on this one at all, Ross, for the first race of the season?
Very, very good battles actually. Not a lot of contact. There were a few incidents, but not many major things. Yeah, overall battling was good. The pace was pretty close. I know Brent and Farrell kind of went towards the end, but everyone else seemed in their own battles. That was the only time they were losing, really. That when they weren't battling, it was all pretty close. So it shows signs of promise for the rest of the season, and hopefully with more than 14 people on the grid. So I look forward to the rest of the season.
Certainly do. But yeah, make sure you guys are tuning in to Division 2 and Division 4 stream, which will be covered by, or Division 2 covered by, it was going to be Old School and Funky Chicken, but unfortunately Old School's had to go due to an emergency. So it'll be Funky Chicken and NSX Montana for Division 2. And Division 4 will be QBR Verstappen, and I believe it will be Ariel Felipe for this evening. So make sure you guys are tuning in to that at 8:10 p.m. BST, so in about 30 minutes' time. But thank you to everybody that has tuned in for this evening. Make sure you catch, as I say, Division 1 and Division 3 next week at 6:30 p.m. BST. I think Division 1 covered by Oxide Nova and QBR Killer. And then, of course, Division 3 covered by yours truly, of myself and RJW. So, as I say, make sure you're checking out all of these as well. Thanks everybody for tuning in for tonight, and we'll catch you guys next week for round number 2 around the Shanghai.